Alright, that's it. I already know you're tired of every single video on the BlockCZ channel being boring. So you know what? This is what I'm doing today. I'm doing a Doodle World Nuzlocke, but I can only use misprints. So let's get into it. But before I start, I gotta go over rules. Like always, because life has rules. And that's annoying. Alright, I'm going to be using the same exact rules Pokemon Nuzlocke has, but I'm going to be switching it up as it's a misprint lock and I can only use misprints. Rule number 1, I can only use misprints. Number 2, if a doodle faints, it dies, I can't use it anymore and it's done. Checkpoints, if my team blacks out, I checkpoint at the last key. The key before, and I can't use a train because that's kind of boring of using transportation. So yeah. Also, when we're hunting for misprints, I can only hunt when I get the key, when I get the chain thing, the chain counter. So that's after the task in Graphite Lodge. So once we get that, we can start chaining. And for our first thing, I'm going to be telling you how we're going to get our misprint. Because, of course, we can't use a starter. Because that's whack. Alright, so I made a new account. And I named it Misprint Lock. And we started our game. And we're going to go into the lab. And we're going to pick our doodle. This is kind of a tedious task to do. To just get our first misprint. Because first we have to go through all the text. Then we have to pick the starter, and this one I had to think very a lot about it because this was a very difficult choice on me picking my starter. Though I wasn't gonna use it through the game, but I wanted to pick a good one, so I had Poopski, Vipumbur, Taboot, and I actually never mind. I'm gonna pick Poopski because Poopski in Doodle World does very good. Anyways, we got into the battle with the Doodle Professor. And I send out Poopski because I'm so good, and he sends out the Goofy Turtle. And you know what? We don't even have to go over this because he's that down bad. He's like absolute trash. He's absolute dog water. Anyways, once we beat the Doodle Professor, he says the Poopski is very powerful, and then he heals my Doodle. And then the spoiled brat comes into the lab uninvited and comes over here and runs up to me and says, I want to steal all your money. And I don't know, because he's a rich boy, so I don't know why he'd want to steal from a poor kid like me. But yeah, he wants to fight, and he wants to take all my money and and he wants to take my Poopski away from me. And that's kind of mean and disrespectful and racist and homophobic, so I'm gonna have to fight back, and we end up clapping his cheeks too. In game. So I had to repeat this process of doing that and looking at my roulette until I could see a good wheel that had at least a misprint. I was willing to take anything, and I got attempt 3 and I got to a nibbling, and then I had to go to Route 1 to get the roulette ticket, but then I found out I got a theater. Yeah, it's so horrible. Alright, for our next thing, around my 5th attempt, I saw this next wheel with a misprint, and I thought I wasn't going to get it, but I did. I got a misprint Impling, and this was kind of a problem for me because Impling was a fire type is kind of terrible for early on in the game, especially when the rain comes. But I said, to hell with it, we'll manage. So we started a journey. I named her, I found it was a girl, and I named her Number 1, because she's number 1. Easily done. So we're going to start out, and we're going to start a story, and our story begins with Impling and me. Alright, so we got into a battle, and I was hoping and praying we didn't lose our first battle to Kid Johnny, because we didn't want to lose our battle to Kid Johnny over here. He had a Niblin, and he got destroyed, demolished and I said, get your 2 cent looking out of here. And they bring out a Rosebug. Oh my god. I was really scared for this one because Rosebug is one of the legendaries in Doodle World. So, but we ended up killing it. It was a tough battle, but we did end up beating him. We beat up Kid Johnny, and though he was overpowered, we destroyed him. We clapped him like everyone else we do in this game. As we made our way back to Lakewood, I was debating on fighting this hiker, but I was kind of like, I don't know, I was a little confused, but I didn't end up skipping him because I already know he has a rock type, and we're not gonna endure that. So we were about to hit Lakewood Town until this stupid girl said a little ouchie, did a little oopsie, and then she wants to fight me, and she got clapped too. After defeating her, after we clapped her, we were gonna head into Lakewood Town, but this stupid Bunsui got in my way, but then we beat it, and then we're coming over here, and then this guy named TJ, he's been standing there for 5 years, so he offers us a tour, and he gives us a beautiful tour that I don't care about and I don't need, so we skipped it. Alright, I was planning to grind a bit. I was trying to grind my Impling since I can only use one doodle before, after I finished the Help Center task in Graphite Lodge, and I went to go fight this girl, and she almost killed me and took me down to 15 health. But I did end up killing her doodle, and Impling learned Necromancy, and that move is very good, because the more fainted doodles in my party, the more stronger it is, so it's going to help me later on, and I'll tell you how later on. Now, after I healed, I went back, and I wanted to fight some more. But this battle almost killed me. So this guy sends out a Glamew. He takes me down to about yellow and I level up and get some more health. This is a problem for me as my Firebolt isn't going to do that much to Scrappy. And I'm going to have to strategize, of course. So Impling has first degree burn. So burning does 2 times damage. And I burned him. And he uses a move which takes me down really low, and I'm about to die. So I have to confuse him, and I'm probably going to be using this strategy until I can get a doodle that can counter doodles for Impling. So he goes down, but that battle is actually really scary for me because it'll be very difficult in the future. And that just scared the hell out of me because we almost lost the run just because of that. All that out of the way, we were free to venture with no more worries of us almost losing our lives. And thanks goodness we didn't, because that luck was crazy. Anyways, we got to the end of the route with no problem at all. And we got enough time to grind. When we got to over here, this guy, he's like, what's up? Riff Raff and Criminal invites him to go play Roblox at his house in a sewer. And TJ's like, oh, they're bad, we gotta go after them. But he's like, oh, we need 2 doodles. So I go back and I go get my Poopski, which I didn't need to, but I got him out of my box. And we fought. And we clapped him like every other person. And then TJ said to go without me, so I'm gonna leave him. And I'm gonna go try focusing the camera, which definitely didn't take me like about 5 tries to do, but I did end up getting it, and he gave me equipment, and I equipped Impling with the katana and the camera. So we went over here, and we went into Riff Raff's lair, and we're gonna prepare for the fight. So I healed up Impling, and here he gives me a tour of his lair, and we beat him in air hockey, and he'll let us go with no complaints if we fight him. And then he goes to flex his MP Riff Raff, and we clap half of his team. And I made Impling forget Mind Empowerment for another move. And this Dramask had to be whittled down to 0, and we killed him. And then he got scared because Tennyson came in here, and then they teleported out of there like evil villains. And then we got to go back all the way to Route 3. And I checked my PC because it was the next day, but then I go back. All the way at the end of Route 3, we're going to find Tennyson, which he sends out Raragon, and it's Crazy Doodle, and we almost lose our lives by getting struck by lightning. And then Portia!
This is where I almost lost my life. So this is the point where it starts raining and we're gonna die because we can't. If we use Firebolt, it's not gonna work and it's not gonna do that much damage. So my strategy over here is to use Confusion and then whittle it down with Burn, and it worked until I got to Glummish. You don't understand how lucky I got in this fight. It hit itself twice in Confusion and could have used Shadow Bolt because I checked on the wiki and this thing had Shadow Bolt and only used Plant Sap. If this thing used Shadow Bolt, I was done. I was actually that would have been the end of the run. Like, I don't know how lucky. What is even the chance of that? I feel like that's the misprint is no. This is more rarer than finding a misprint. It hit itself twice in Confusion and used Plant Sap instead of Shadow Bolt, which was super effective against me. So that's very crazy. But we did end up winning, which I'm so happy about. Now that we're in Route 4, I grab a chest. I skip every trainer on this route because I don't feel like fighting anyone. And we grab another chest and we finally get to Graphite Lodge. And 2 people want to fight, but Cassidy helps us. And then they want us to go on the blue roof. But I want to go heal real quick because I don't feel like helping them. Anyways, we get inside. The mayor tells us to meet in the help center. And this is my favorite part where we can get the chain thingy where we can get the chain counter. And we're going to be able to get our next party members, which is going to be awesome. But before going to whatever her name is, I forgot his name and I don't care about her name. Before we go fight the 2 goons, we're in rain. So, and we already know what their team is. Their team consists of water types. So I'm not taking any chances. So I go on to catch 5 doodles from my team that I'm not going to be using. I'm going to knock them all out. They're all going to die. So my necromancy can be stronger. And seen in the battle, I knock them out fairly quickly and they go down so easily. And this is another part where I get so lucky. I survive at 1 to one of his moves, and I could have died right there. But I burned him and we whittle him down and we're just stalling turns as we heal up and he keeps hitting me. And we defeated them, thankfully, I was happy about, and that thing helped out. Next, we go to Carson. He goes down very quickly. My strategy now is just to keep going for that fire move and Confusion. And his team goes down pretty easily. So, yeah, that's pretty much our whole run so far. This is part 1, and we get our chain preserver, whatever counter. And yeah, that's gonna be about it. I hope you enjoyed. I usually don't do this, but we're gonna be doing a like goal. Like goal is about 20 likes for a part 2. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day. And Block CZ out.